Cheers, I do buckaroos, and how the heck are you? I am Tom the Whiskey Whisperer. Took a little pause for the cause, but since I am off tomorrow, I thought I'd do a couple more whiskey videos or cocktail videos. Again, I had just a little bit of this particular whiskey left, enough to make two nice cocktails. District made, grain to glass. It's pretty interesting stuff. 95 proof rather. I do like grain to glass products. It's the first DC whiskey I've had. But I picked it up back around St. Patrick's Day, so it's one of those I knew I needed to finish up. So I did a couple versions of a Manhattan. The first one I'm going to have with you, I use that District made, about 2 ounces. But I didn't use Sweet Vermouth, so I replaced the Sweet Vermouth with a J. Rieger's Caffe Amaro. So Amaro is an herbal liqueur. This one adds coffee. So I used about 2 ounces of the whiskey, about 3/4 ounce of the Caffe Amaro, and because again it is an herbal liqueur, I used the Cardamom Bitters with that one. Now the second one I've got, I stayed pretty close to the traditional. I used the whiskey and the Sweet Vermouth. Where I made the change was in the bitters. I used the Toasted Almond Bitters, but other than that, it's a rather traditional Manhattan. So I'm going to start with the one using the Caffe Amaro. That's more herbal. So I thought the Cardamom Bitters would work. But we'll find out together, won't we? Anyways, before I do that, I actually realize I need to fix something here real fast. Forgot to do it last video till after I was done with the video. Edit privacy, make it public. There we go. Anyways, I digress. Let me make sure that worked here. And we're back in business. Let me set that off to the side. All right, we're going to start with the Caffe Amaro. Yeah, take a little break and get dinner ready. So we had dinner, and I had to wait a little bit after dinner to let the belly settle. I had a nice steak, had a very nice steak. So a rather large, it was about 1.25 pounds, 18 ounce USDA choice ribeye. There's 3 of us eating, and quite frankly, we still got quite a bit left. I've learned to cook it, then slice it thin, and don't put a whole bunch on any of the plates, and we have more for later. So we've got enough to have for breakfast in the morning. So I cook it rare so I can heat it back up. Anyway, we also had, so when we were in Kansas City last weekend, we stopped at Trader Joe's and we picked up the langostine or langostino, depending on how you choose to pronounce it, the frozen, little bitty lobsters, basically. They kind of taste like tiny little lobsters. The meat's a little firmer than shrimp. It's not quite lobster, but it's really close. Anyway, I'd made some pasta primavera. We picked up some organic pappardelle when we were out there, so I cooked that, and we had some fresh veg. I had some broccoli, some carrots, some snap peas, so I used those. So I got a little primavera, and then I put the langoustine there right at the end, just enough to heat them and then serve it. Of course, some garlic and olive oil was involved in there. And then, but I did finish it with just a little bit of butter, because lobster. And he's the olive oil, but then I as I put the langoustine on there to finish, and I added just that little bit of butter right there just before serving. Just to make it a little bit more decadent. That is delicious. Yeah, I keep forgetting about this Amaro being in there. I've had it for a little while now. I probably need to get it gone, but I don't use a lot of it at a time. And in fact, I've had it for closing in on 2 years. So obviously, I don't use it a lot. It's still half a bottle. But yeah, I kind of use it in this capacity a lot, though, especially this time of year. As the weather gets a little colder, I do love to use it in place of a Sweet Vermouth. Kind of changes the drink up a little bit and those herbal notions to it. that little bit of coffee. And I finish up that district made. So I'm finishing up a few products today. Thinning the herd, if you will. Some of this stuff's been around a while. That district made I bought St. Patrick's Day when we were in the Joplin area. So yeah, we might as well finish it off. So I made had enough to make these last two cocktails. I'll take a little pause for the cause again. I don't know if I'll do a video later this evening or not. We'll kind of play it by ear. But I had these, I made these cocktails a little earlier, and I was just getting them good and chilled, or had them ready, I should say. Got everything off to the side, had them ready to go. And I got a good chill on them. I do enjoy a Manhattan. I do enjoy playing around with, classic cocktails. I don't want to stray too far from traditional, but I like to kind of change things up a little bit. And again, with the one, I replaced the Sweet Vermouth with the Caffe Amaro, then added the Cardamom Bitters. The other one, I did use a Sweet Vermouth and just changed the bitters. Use that toasted almond to make it more of a, more of a fall cocktail, I guess. I do want to get to the store, though. I was hoping to get there this weekend, but I didn't have a chance. Well, I did have a chance, just chose not to get out, I should say. But I wanted to buy some, because I picked up these toasted almond bitters, I want to buy a good quality amaretto, take the sweet vermouth out, use the amaretto, make kind of a amaretto or almond Manhattan. We'll play around with that one later. Didn't have to happen this week. Oh, mercy, that's delicious. That's good, man. I don't care who you are. That's just tasty. Yeah, that's really good, man. I do like that. It's funny, I don't drink that Amaro very often, but every time I do, I think, oh, I like it. I know some folks drink them straight. I typically just add it to stuff. I guess I can get it. But yeah, every time I add it to a Manhattan, I really enjoy it. Especially when the weather is, when it starts cooling down. Oh yeah, that's a nice change of pace. That is. Feels kind of fall, a little herbal, a little coffee. Anyway, I digress. It's a good dinner, though. It was really tasty. Only wanted to dirty two pans. That's why I kind of did the primavera, so I didn't have to have something in a vegetable on the side. Just put it all together there. The addition of the langoustine was kind of a last minute thing. I said, huh. My grandson Ben was with us, and he'd never had it before. Goodness, that one snuck up on me. So I thought, well, I'm going to give him give him steak langoustine, give him a very nice dinner at Grampy and Grampy's house. You'll never know Grampy and Grampy were poor people. We eat well. I just buy well, right? I know how to buy stuff at a discount, man. I like to eat good stuff. I just don't want to pay full retail. Anyway, I digress. So yeah, I want to pay full retail, man. I learn how to find a bargain. Eat good stuff. You can eat well if you shop right. Eat well if you shop right. That ought to be a slogan for somebody. Oh, mercy, that's good. That's very good. Eat well if you shop right. God, the steak was amazing, though. It really was. The marbling on there was just insane. I just gave it I cooked it rare so we can kind of reheat it later, but I basically just gave it a hard sear in cast iron. And I gave it just a light olive oil drizzle. I let it rest a little bit, and then, give it a light olive oil drizzle as I sliced it thin. Just give a slight drizzle of that olive oil. Really brings that flavor out. Some like to add brown butter. You can do that. That's an old steakhouse trick too. Brown some butter and then kind of drizzle it over. But I like to do olive oil every once in a while because I like the way, especially if you got a good quality olive oil, I like the way that the aromas come out when it hits that warm steak. But you got to let that steak rest a little bit, right? Don't pull it off the fire, however you're cooking it, whether you're grilling it or cooking it inside, or broiling it. Some like to broil. Don't cut right into it. Let that sit there for a little bit. I like to put some foil over aluminum foil over the top and just let it sit for at least 10 minutes. And you won't get blood running everywhere. In fact, when I was cutting this one, nothing. But that's it, just the right amount where everything settled in, and it came out perfect. And we got enough for some steak and eggs for breakfast. And so I'm off tomorrow. We're going to do some steak and eggs, baby. We're going to do it right. Anyway, we're going to do it right, baby. Going to do it right. The last 2 days, we've had our grandson Ben for sleepover. So the first morning, I fixed him some French toast using some maple streusel bread from Trader Joe's, and he likes omelets. So I made him an omelet with ham and a Swiss Gruyere blend, and then some bacon. So there's a lot of protein going on for that breakfast. For this morning's breakfast, the French toast again with some cinnamon sugar bread from Trader Joe's. I used all the ham yesterday, so I just did it. He likes pepper jack cheese, so I made him a pepper jack omelet. And again, bacon. And then for my wife and myself, I did the omelet with Asiago cheese. And tomorrow we're going to do the steak. Obviously, I've said that several times. He said it ad nauseum. We're not going to do French toast tomorrow. I haven't decided what all I'm going to do tomorrow, other than I know we're having steak. Maybe by doing poached eggs. I don't have any potatoes. I wish I had some potatoes because I love fried potatoes for breakfast. And we don't typically run out of potatoes, but we did. The problem is we don't use a lot of potatoes. I don't use potatoes every day, so it's really when we do have potatoes, I have to keep using them to get rid of them because they will go bad on us because we just don't use them for every meal. So I've really got to think about it and use them. So I haven't decided if we'll do grits for the the grits or oatmeal or whatever. I'm not sure what that other component is going to be yet. I forgot I didn't have any potatoes, or I had my wife pick some up the other day. Because I love, she's not really into it as much as I am, but growing up, for me, breakfast was always fried potatoes. We didn't have breakfast every morning, but on the weekends when everybody was home, breakfast for my dad, everything had potatoes had to be served with every meal, no matter what the meal was. So we had fried potatoes for breakfast. But I kind of forgot about that we were out. So I might do grits. I might do some oatmeal. I'm not sure. I don't want to do French toast again. I think we ran. I rode that one till the wheels fell off there. So it's time to do something else. I'm just not sure what that something else is yet. I got to think about it. We did omelets the last couple of days. I don't want to do an omelet again. So I don't know if I'll do fried eggs or poached eggs. I think I might do poached, but again, I just wish I had some taters because some fried potatoes would be perfect, but I forgot I was out. We used to keep dried shreds on hand, because that's what diners do, use dehydrated shredded potatoes to make hash browns. But again, we just haven't been eating a lot of potatoes lately, so we haven't been buying stuff. I'll have to toss it around in a hopper, see if anything else comes to mind. No, there's got to be something else I'm not thinking of at this particular moment in time. As I finish up this particular Manhattan and get to Manhattan number 2, oh, So this one is closer to traditional, right? So it's got the district made, it's got the sweet vermouth. Where I made the change was in the bitters. I just added the toasted almond bitters. And the aromatics on these is very amaretto. So that's why I thought about getting that today, but I just really didn't want to go anywhere. So maybe for next weekend, I want to get to the store and get some good amaretto. They do kind of a, I think that'd be a very fall kind of Manhattan amaretto with the toasted almond bitters, the whiskey. You're picking up what I'm putting down. We follow you, Tom. You don't need to draw us a map, man. We got it. Man, that's good. That is really, oh man, that is delicious. I always play around with the sweet vermouth. I take it out and I add different things instead of the sweet vermouth. And I have actual sweet vermouth. I put it in a cocktail thing. Huh, that's delicious. There's probably a reason why they use that. It does work. And I did buy myself a fresh bottle over the weekend. And it does make a difference. But yeah, sometimes I like to use some cream sherry. Sometimes I use some port. I'm getting near the end of this particular port. In fact, I didn't realize I was that close to the end. I should have finished it off already. My Adam pushed signature port at 18%. I've got a couple other ports, but again, I'm trying hard not to open them yet. I want to wait till I'm trying to empty some stuff out. I want to wait till closer to Thanksgiving, at least that weekend before I open up some of the stuff that we have. But I'm not sure if I'm going to make it, especially since I know I've got barely one drink left. There's maybe 2 ounces in there at the most, and I really enjoy port. Man, that's delicious. That's a good cocktail right there, boy. That's at least a $15 cocktail. That's probably the reason I don't really order cocktails. The only time I order cocktails out is when we're on vacation, when we're out of town for a few days. Okay, then I got that money that I put off to the side. I got that vacation money, so it doesn't count, right? Yeah, so I'll spend $15, $20 for a good quality Manhattan or an old fashioned, because that's what they cost. But on a regular old day that I can get out to the bar, pub, or whatever, tavern, speakeasy, underground fight club, whatever it may be. Now, if I'm having whiskey, I'm just drinking it neat because, one, I don't want to spend a lot of money for a Manhattan or an old fashioned. And two, I know they're not going to make it right. I'm very picky. I like things done a very specific way. That's why the older I get, the less I go out to eat, because I like things done a very specific way. I don't want to pay a lot of money for a meal I know that I can do better. And I'm getting more like that the older I get, getting very set in my ways, how things ought to be. Okay, I'm just not going to go out. I'm not going to go have a beer. I got stuff at home. I got beer at home. I got whiskey at home. Because my wife was getting out for a while today, and I know if I wanted to go somewhere for a while they did their thing, well, I got stuff here. But part of me wanted to go, and I kept trying to think where I could go. But the more I thought about it, the more I thought I don't really want to be out for 3 hours or so where I have to have clothes on. And I don't really want to have to act like a regular human being for 3 hours. That's a lot of work, man. That takes a lot out of a person. I can be home and if I do a video, I only have to act like a regular person for, 15 to 30 minutes, top end. I only have to be clothed, from ear to ear. Nobody knows what I'm wearing underneath. Oh, mercy. Yeah, I'm getting worse and worse the older I get, man. I just don't want to go anywhere. I don't want to put clothes on. I mostly don't want to wear socks. I have claustrophobic feet. I don't want to put things on my feet, man. I feel like I'm being strangled when I put socks on my feet. I don't know what that means, but it does. I feel like you know, it feels like claustrophobia of the feet. I don't know if that's a thing or not, but I just don't like wearing socks. But the truth is, I've always been that way. I mean, even as a kid, I went barefoot as much as humanly possible. I don't understand these people that remain clothed all day long, that get up, go to work, come home, and still stay clothed until it's time for bed. I do not get these people. We're never going to see eye to eye. Because the second I walk in the house after working all day, I mean, the very second I shut that door, stuff starts coming off. I mean, I'm half naked by the time I get to the bedroom. Sometimes I'm all the way naked by the time I get to the bedroom. I mean, I don't get these folks that they live by themselves, or them and their wife or whatever. But there's a lot of folks I know live by themselves and stay clothed all day, and I don't understand for the life of me why people do that. I cannot make that make sense. If I'm in the house by myself or even with my wife, I'm in nothing but my drawers. That's it, man. And sometimes not even that much. I don't understand how people want to have clothes on all day. I feel like I'm suffocating. I just don't understand these people. Then again, to give you a little bit of backstory, my dad was kind of the same way. As soon as the second my dad got in the house, man, he had his clothes off. He was just laying on the couch in his underwear. Somebody knock on the door, he'd get up and answer the door in his underwear. I mean, nowadays you get, the police called on you for that, but no, that's the way it was done back then. People learned if they didn't want to see dad in his underwear, they did knock on the door about 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Do not knock on the door when you see that caterer truck pull up. No. You want to see him with clothes on, you better catch him before he gets in the house, because he doesn't care. And if you care, you've got a problem. I swear to goodness, there were times they would have friends over on the weekends. And a lot of the neighbors would come over and drink. And they'd all be dressed. And dad'd still be in his underwear drinking. Dad didn't put clothes on for a damn soul. I mean, the Catholic priest could come by the door. He put the clothes on. He didn't care who it was. And I'm not quite that bad. I don't do that. But yes, the second I get in the house, man, this stuff's got to come off. I know I do. I don't know what it is. It's got to be some kind of condition, something. But yeah, I feel like I hate to have clothes on. I feel like I'm being smothered, especially my feet. I hate having stuff on my feet. My wife sleeps with socks on. I don't know how the hell she does that. She says her feet are cold. But I don't care if my feet are cold. I'm not going to put socks on them and suffocate them. The truth is, my feet don't get cold though. Most of the time, and she can verify this, is that I'll get under the covers, but I'll stick my feet out from the covers. I like my feet hanging out. Maybe that's a thing too. I don't get cold feet. I like to have my head covered though. Not sure what that means either. We might have some deep psychological issues. I don't know, but I'm just saying. Anyway, uh, I was talking with someone the other day. They were having a few beers. We were having a conversation. We're kind of joking about different things, and I mentioned a couple things. I said, "Now don't shrink me." She kind of chuckled. I'm getting a rather large bitters collection, and I didn't start doing it on purpose. It just sort of happened, and now I just can't stop myself. Now it's almost become a little bit of an addiction. Every when I go to a liquor store and I see some bitters that I haven't seen before, I thought, huh. I don't always buy them at that moment, to be honest with you, but as soon as I see something different, I start thinking of an application, right? If I can think of right away what I could use that for, I buy them. Well, especially if we're out of town. If we're not, if I'm out of town, I'm more likely just to impulsively buy it. But yeah, so I thought, okay, what can I use that? Like I found these cardamom bitters. As soon as I looked at the cardamom, I never thought about that being a bitter. So now what can I do with it? And then I saw the toasted almond. That one seemed a little bit more obvious. And then some cranberries. So, okay, that may kind of make sense. We're coming into Thanksgiving and Christmas. But when I saw the cardamom, I thought, that takes your cocktail in a whole other direction. Because a lot of folks have no idea what this is, right? I mean, I use cardamom. I tend to cook with it a lot. It's a great spice, but a lot of folks don't know what it is. The fact that somebody said, hey, how about some cardamom bitters? I mean, I think that person's a genius. Anyway, I digress. I better wrap this one up. I rambled a little longer, and I probably overshared more than I needed to. That's kind of what I do, man. I am Tom the Whiskey Whisperer, whiskey evangelist, prolific whiskey drinker, purveyor of wisdom, and all-around good guy. Again, the whiskey that I use was a district-made grain to glass. I believe it cost about $40 a bottle. The truth is, this stuff is really good. If you can find this in your neck of the woods, I do recommend it. I did drink most of it neat, but it does make a great cocktail. And we'll skip to the end and say, sláinte and have a good one. Thanks for tuning in.